Hey everyone, it's me, her patterns, because these are my patterns. Today, I don't want to hear anybody complaining that they can't sew. Oh my gosh, I can't sew. It's so hard. I can't sew. I don't want to hear that because today I am going to show you how to make a super quick and easy dress. It only has a total of 3 seams. That means you have to stitch 3 pieces together. 3 seams. So we're doing the side seams and then we have a center back seam. That's it. And you will have yourself a dress and it's going to be super, super, super gorgeous. It's going to be super elegant. So let's get into it. Let me show you guys all the supplies that I have and then we're going to get into our project. Okay, so I'm gonna need you guys to excuse the sun. It's coming in and out. We have this weird weather, so anytime it goes dark and stuff like that, just ignore it. Okay, so for my supplies, I have my sewing pattern. I like to print my patterns in A0 because it makes the project move along super fast. Over here I have multiple projects, so it's not just the dress only. But I'll say this: when you print your pattern and you go into the print shop, all you're gonna say to them is can you please print what I've emailed you? Please print it at 100% scale or print the actual size. Do not manually scale it up for me. I just want it at 100% scale. So when you have your pattern, we also have A4 and letter patterns. So with the A4 and letter pattern, it will work with A0, not A0, it will work with letter paper and A4 paper. So that's why the pattern is like made into one. Anywho, to make sure that you've printed your pattern right, you are going to grab your measuring tape and you are just going to measure the T-square and you're going to make sure that it is 1 inch, right? So here's my measuring tape and it is 1 inch. 1 inch, right? Then you know you printed it right. So, whew. Your printing, your files are going to come with layers printing. So make sure you make use of the layers printing because it will help you print just your size only. But if you want to print multiple sizes, with my stretch patterns I do tend to like nest all the sizes together. So if you want to print multiple sizes, go ahead and print everything all at once. There will be size lines that tell you where to cut. So yeah, so let's discuss all the other supplies that I do have for this project in terms of material. So I have this thick elastic. It's about, it is about an inch. It's about an inch wide, right? Which is going to be 2.5 centimeters wide. We are going to need this elastic because when we are making the dress, this is going to go over here and it's going to hold it in place because it's a strapless dress, right? And then I have this 4-way stretch fabric. I forgot the name, but it's 4-way stretch and it's so see-through. I did not see that it is see-through. I guess this will be for illustration purposes only then. I didn't realize how see-through it was. Wow. Okay, so we have this 4-way stretch fabric, right? Make sure that your fabric has 60 to 70% stretch. That'll be perfect. And then some of the most important things, I suppose, are your needles. I am using a twin needle for stretch fabrics. It is very important when you're working with stretch, you want to make sure that your needles are specifically designed for stretch, because if you use a normal needle that's for woven fabrics, you're going to skip a lot of stitches and it's just going to be hard to get through your project. So I do have a twin needle. This is going to be used to finish the hem of my skirt, of my dress. However, if this is a bit out of budget for you, I would recommend just using a zigzag stitch. It's gonna get the job done. But if you want that professional finish, that nice professional finish, highly recommend. Okay, so I'm also going to be using a ball point needle on my sewing machine, right? It is a jersey needle. I've already put it in, so I can't take it out to show you guys. And I am going to be using, my serger is threaded in different colors because I was trying to fix it yesterday and I fixed it. So I'm also going to be using my serger only because I wanted the raw edges of my my seams, the raw edges of my seams on the inside to be really professional. I love when I'm working with like stretch fabric, I love having that professional finish. However, if you do not have that, if you don't have a serger, it is okay. I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna show you something, right, that I use a lot. This is an overcast foot, right? And this overcast foot works like a serger. It creates this like gorgeous finish, not as great as the serger, not as pretty as the serger, but very, very neat, very professional. And so you can purchase this for yourself and put it on your sewing machine. If you have a sewing machine like mine, which I use the Brother sewing machine, you're going to see on your 1, 2, 3, on the third knob, right? This show, what does it usually show? It usually shows your stitch length, right? So this part that usually shows your stitch length, if you roll it all the way, it will go to SS, which is stretch stitch, right? So this will give you a stretch stitch. And then over here on the knob at number 18 is the overcast stitch, so you will use that. We are working with stretch fabric, so you don't really need to finish the raw edges because stretch fabric does not fray. I am just being extra and I'm being a drama queen. So anyway, we have obviously your everyday things such as your scissors, your pins, your pins to draw on your fabric, all of that stuff. Seam allowance is included in your pattern, so it is 1/2 an inch. I add 1/2 an inch on all my patterns. So if you have a pattern of mine and you're like, does it have seam allowance? Yes, it has 1/2 an inch. Let's get started. I'm gonna cut my fabric off camera because there's a lot going on here, and then when I come back, we're just gonna start sewing. Okay, you guys, so I did end up cutting out my pattern on paper and on the fabric. I just want to say this: you are supposed to have one front piece cut on fold. I know that in the pattern I did make a mistake and say cut 2 on fold. That was actually, the cut 2 is supposed to be for the back, not the front. So if you do have the old pattern, just know that for your front you are cutting 1 on fold, and for the back you're going to cut 2 pieces. So I did cut my fabric and I'm just going to show you the pieces that I have. I have my front piece, which is cut 2 times, not 2 times, which is cut once on fold. So you're going to have one front piece like that, you know, one front piece, and then and then you are going to have 2 back pieces, right? So you're gonna have this back piece and you're going to have the other back piece. Okay, so we are actually going to start stitching right here, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my 2 back pieces and I'm going to be pinning them at the center back seam. The center back seam is the straight seam, right? That is your center back, right? So I'm going to be putting them right sides together. That means the shiny parts of my fabric are going to be facing each other. So I'm going to find my center back seam and then I'm going to be putting them together and I'm going to pin them in place, right? I am going to be using a black thread which I know sometimes people don't like it when I do that because they say they can't see what it is that I'm stitching, but I am filming the video differently to what I usually do. So I am using two angles, so hopefully you guys will see. The issue with you know, using a different color thread is then, you know, I can't wear the clothes, you know, then I would have to make the same item too many times, then, you know, I can't really wear it, of which I want to be able to wear the things, you know, but it's okay. We're just gonna, you know, do what we need to do. So another thing I want to say is sometimes when you are stitching with stretch fabric, it may get like wavy, or when you feed it into your sewing machine it might stretch. In that case, using a walking foot will help feed your fabric properly, right? Okay, so I've pinned everything. Everything has been pinned, and I want to say this, right? When you are sewing with your stretch, when you are sewing with stretch fabrics, right, what will happen is if you use a straight stitch going horizontally, right, horizontally this way, when you're trying to wear your clothes, when it stretches like this, the stitch might snap off, right, because there's so much tension on it. However, when you are going vertically, using a normal straight stitch is okay because the tension is this way, not this way, right? So for this part, I say this to say we are going to be stitching this in place using our straight stitch, right? We're using a normal stitch. I'm using a 2.5 stitch length. My tension is at 2, whatever, like it's not that big of a deal. Got it. So now we're just gonna do a straight stitch along there. My seam allowance is 1/2 inch, so I'm making sure to respect that. So it's just a regular straight stitch. So I want to show you what it is that I was talking about. So my stitch is in place. Ooh, I hope you guys can see that. So I've now stitched it in place, right? So when I do turn it around, I have my center back seam, and see how when I stretch it, it doesn't snap, right? That's because I'm not putting tension on it, right? So the strap running down, there's no tension. So you can leave it like this. It's okay if you leave it like this. You don't have to finish the raw edge. I just want to finish the raw edge because I have a serger and I want to use my serger, right? I haven't used it in years. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna take my back piece, right? I'm just gonna lay it down with the right side facing towards me. Then I'm gonna take the front piece and I am going to lay it down with the right side facing towards the other piece. So now the wrong side is facing towards me, and I am going to pin it on the side seams. So these are my side seams. So we're just gonna go ahead and just repeat the same process of just like pinning The more pins you put in, the more control you have. But I just remembered something. And the something that I remembered is that I recently bought these clamps. I don't know what to call them. Clips, yes. Oh my goodness. I just want to see if using this is gonna be, I don't know, faster, more efficient. I don't know. Let's see. You know what? I prefer my pins. I'm an old school girl. I prefer my good old pins, girl. Okay, so I'm not gonna pin too much this time around. Okay. I was just making sure that I am the wrong sides are together. So just like continue pinning. Like, okay, so side seams are pinned. Then we're just gonna do a straight stitch. I'm gonna go ahead and do a straight stitch. Another thing you can do to make sure that your fabric is not being unnecessarily stretched is do not pull it from this side, because it's going to stretch it and it's going to make this weird wave. What you want to do is you just want to feed it into the machine and let the machine pull it itself, right? Like I said, if you do experience getting that weird wave, I would recommend getting a walking foot or quilting foot. It's gonna help feed the stretch fabric nicely to where it doesn't make these waves. If you're coming from my TikTok page, you might have seen me do like when I started, I went forward and then I went backwards. That's called an anchor stitch. I did teach you guys what that was. So you always want to just do that when you start and when you finish, to make sure that your stitch doesn't unravel. Anyway, here is my the other seam. I would say the thing that's taking the most time, honestly, see, I did it again, it's a habit. You're gonna get into that habit of making an anchor stitch. I would say the thing that's taking the most time is stitching. That's it. So basically you now have your dress. I would recommend fitting your dress at, like, this is like a rough draft of your dress, right? I would highly recommend just kind of like fitting it, right? Just to see how it sits on you. Like, do you like it, do you not like it? And then you might need to, depending on your fabric, you might need to take it in at the waist a little bit more, you know. So I'm gonna fit this dress, and then I'll come back and give my feedback, and then we'll continue. Okay, so I did fit the dress and it fits absolutely beautifully. I'm trying a different size because I am usually used to be an extra small. Now I'm a small, so I had to try a different size. I love how this dress fits on me, and what I love the most is how the flare at the hem makes it easier to walk. It's like very free. It's a gorgeous dress. You might need to, depending on your height, I'm quite short, you might need to like lengthen it and make it just a little bit longer. That's on you, not on me. Anyway, so basically if you don't have a serger, you can stop here, or you can just do a little zigzag stitch and then trim off the excess seam allowance. I do have a serger, so I am going to switch on over to my serger. I'm going to switch on over to my serger. So how a serger works is that it is going to finish this hem. I'll insert an example of what it looks like on a different color fabric because I know you guys won't see because it's black. So I just am gonna go ahead and just start serging. So when you're working with a serger, I should have never cut that like that. But what you'll do is you'll just take a loop turner, take all of this, right? And then pull it towards the inside. Ooh. I made the mistake of cutting it too short. So this is what a serged edge looks like. It has this like super professional kind of finish. So So that's one side seam done. Let's quickly do the other one. And then the final seam will be the center back seam. So I have these seams overlocked, and like I said, I'm just gonna take my loop turner, fit it under that chain, and I'm just gonna pull it out. Alrighty then, so now after you're done serging or overlocking the inside, this is what it looks like. This is what an overlocker looks like. right? I finished hem. So what we're going to do is you're going to take the elastic, and all you're going to do is just measure around here to see how much elastic you need, right? And then what you're going to do is you're just going to cut a little bit extra, because remember it's going to overlap, right? So after you've done that, I'm just going to take these pins, right, and I'm just going to pin that in place, right? And then I am going to grab my sewing machine. I'm going to grab my sewing machine and just going to put it like that. I am going to put it on the zigzag stitch, which is stitch number 3, and oh, and I'm just gonna go ahead and just like stitch that in place, right? And then from there I'm going to lift it up, I'm going to pivot, right? Let's change directions. When it's inside, change directions again. Then change directions again. We want to make sure that it never ever ever snaps out of place. Then pivot. You can do this however many times you want, hey? I am just being super duper 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 extra. Okay. Great. So what I'm going to do is see over here, I'm going to reinforce it around here again. See? Now it's super, super reinforced. Love it. Then this is what we're going to do. We are going to divide this into 4 equal parts, right? So we're going to start like this. This part, right? This side, we're going to mark it. We're going to take these 2 pins. They're going to meet over there. And then we're just going to mark it. Just going to mark that. See? So now I have 4 equal parts. I am going to come over here, and I know where I already know where 3 of my parts are, right? So I know that with these 2, these are, that's a point, that's a point, and that's a point, right? So I just need a center front point. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put it like this, match these 2 together, right? And then voila, I'm gonna get that last point. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. I'm just gonna take this back part and I'm gonna make that the center back seam, right? So on the right side of my fabric, I'm gonna go ahead and just pin that in place, right? Pin that first part in place. Come to the side seam. I'm gonna go ahead and just pin that in place, right? And then, oh my goodness. And then pin the other side seam in place. And then the center front seams, go ahead and pin that in place. And then we're gonna start, I'm gonna use my serger. You don't have to use a serger. You can go ahead and just use your twin needle. You can use your twin needle to like stitch it in place, and then we're gonna fold it over, and then we are going to fold it over again, and it's going to look like that. So like I said, I am gonna be using my serger for this part, right? So you're gonna be using your normal stitch. For this part, you're gonna need to use a zigzag stitch or a stretch stitch like I showed you guys in the beginning. You cannot use a normal straight stitch because everything is going to snap out of place. What I do recommend is using actually your twin needle. This is where you're going to need your twin needle. There are like a couple of, okay, I am going to use the twin needle to hem, and you guys are going to see. So you want to make sure that you are following the seam allowance that I gave you to do this part, right? As you're stitching, you may need to pull on the elastic so that it lays flat with the fabric, right? So be careful of that. So you might have to just tug on it a little, and then it will lay flat. So that's that. Okay, this is what it looks like. So we're just gonna fold it in once and then fold it in twice, like that, and then we fold it in like that, and then you are just gonna just make sure that, okay, yeah, fold it in like that, one, and then we're gonna pin it in place, right? And then go to the other side seam, yeah, fold it in like this, and then fold it in again like that, and then pin at the side seams, pin it in place, right? The reason why we're doing this, you guys are gonna see right now, is so that we can just keep it in place. So So on the right side, right? On the right side, I'm just going to just remove that, and I'm gonna take one of these clips, see if they can help. Yeah, I'm just gonna grab the clips, right? I'm just gonna stitch in this seam, a straight stitch right inside the seam, right? So I'm gonna set that to a straight stitch, and I just want to catch in between this seam, right? Ooh. See, my loves, I got it right in the middle. Now it's gonna hold it in place. I'm gonna do the same thing for this side again, right? So now when you wear it, the elastic is going to be on the inside, and it's not going to show anything, right? So you only just want to stitch it in on the side seams and the center back seam. Trust me, I know right now it looks a little wonky, like it's going to show. It's not going to show. Then we are going to have to figure out our hemming situation. So this is the last part. So I have my twin needle in there, and so I am gonna just go ahead and hem my dress. How I'm gonna do this is that I'm gonna have to fold this in by like a centimeter, right? So I'm gonna have to do this on the right side of my fabric. So it is important that you do make sure that you are catching the fabric. You want to make sure that you are catching the fabric. So you're gonna fold it in and then stitch it in place. So just go like that, and then like I said, we are going to be stitching from the right side of the fabric. Just want to make sure of something. I'm just pinning them, so just to start, and then once I've started, I'll have the rhythm of the fold, and then I won't have to worry so much about it. So there we go. So I'm gonna start the stitching process. So that you guys see, this is what a twin needle does. It gives you these double stitches, and then on the inside it has this like zigzag thing going on. So that's what it looks like. So at this point we are done. You may fit your dress.